Hi guys, this is another in the series of movies about obtaining shared coordinates in your model. This is example 6, and as I went through recording this, I realised this is getting bigger than Ben-Hur. As I mentioned before, it depends on your inputs, it depends on what you have to do. There's lots of different workflows. Now, what you're seeing on the screen is the error messages directly after I try to do an acquire. So I'm in a model of my own making, and that's an architectural model, as we've seen before, and I try to acquire the coordinates. Now, Revit's error is cannot acquire coordinates from the model with multiple shared sites. Now, as I mentioned to you before, this is an example of one Revit model with multiple locations. So in the example of our little shelter we've talked about before, this particular building is used multiple times on the one large site. One Revit model, but multiple stored locations. So what I'm going to do first is just show you how to establish more than one location in your project. So that's you're driving it, you're setting up the locations. The second example I'll show you, same example, but this is an example where you have to establish your models in the correct place from an architectural model with the shared coordinates. So it'll be evident what I'm talking about and just how to do it. If you're lucky, and this is the project you're in, the architect or whomever will give you a site model, which will make your job a bit easier. But if you haven't got a site model, this is the workflow. But anyway, first I'll go through the example of you're in control, you're wanting to store multiple locations in your model. So what I'll just do first is I'll just unlink my model that I had that error from. Okay, so I'll just get rid of that model. Now, this is a new model that I've created. It's just called site. Now, the example here is I want to establish a site model so I can store multiple locations in the building model I'm going to add. Now, the building model I've got has got shared coordinates already. This site model hasn't. Okay, so the building I've got is just one location, but it's got site coordinates for one of the locations, and this is a blank site model. So the workflow is as follows. Just as before I go on, I've actually established a view called site with unlimited top, unlimited bottom, unlimited view depth, and then that maximum number, which is 6 nines, that Revit will take for the cut plane. So we've got a plan view here that's basically limitless up and down. So wherever I bring this model in, we'll see it. Okay, so the first step is I will just link Revit, and all these data sets are available for you to play with, have a play with yourself with these. So I'm gonna pick the simple architectural model, so it's data set A, and I'm going to insert center to center. So there's the model come in as we've seen before. Okay, just with this before I go into the acquiring and the copying around, just as a little heads up. I haven't explained this before, but in this location button, there are two locations. There's one just called location and one called site. Now the site is the one we've been dealing with, where we've been rotating the east relative to true north to give the difference between true and project north. But there's also location. This is the internet location, and you may ask why. Why is the difference? All over the world, depending on the internet, you have different issues with sunrise and sunset and shadows and yada yada. So it's an American program, so it's set for Boston as a default. And here's the weather in Boston, through the year, the minimum and maximum temperatures. This is used for heat load calculations in MEP, etc. Daily mean range, blah blah blah. It knows where the sun is and the sun sets. So when you're doing your projects, it's really simple to set up the correct internet or GPS location. So you just click in there, and I'm just going to start typing Sydney. Australia, like that. Australia. And do a search. It's come up here. Did you mean? Yes, I did. Okay, so we're in much closer now. Now I'm making this recording from home, and I'm in Surrey Hills, which is postcode 2010. So it's just pretty smart, isn't it? That's, you know, the old Google Map interface. So it's pretty easy to pick, where your project actually is located. Anyway, I just thought I'd show you that. And then now when you look at the weather, here we are, sunny Sydney, yada 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 yada. Because it's the stored GPS internet thing, it knows about sunset and sunrise and daylight saving, all that sort of stuff. So it's invaluable for your heat load calculations, shadow lines if you're doing rendering. So it's all sort of quite useful stuff, but it's all there in the background. Okay. So as before, I've got a model here, and currently it's not shared because I've just inserted it. So I keep on saying inserted, I mean linked. It's not inserting, it's linking it, and it's not shared. So as before, we're going to go manage coordinates, and we're going to acquire. Okay, so now we know what's happened. I've hit acquire, so I'll now change the view to true north, and there's our building location spun around in terms of true north. So I'll leave it in the true north view, and now I'm going to just click the model again, and it's now picking up the internal, which is the saved location, the only location within this model. I'm going to click this, and we're going to deal with 3 locations of the site. They're going to be called asset 1101, 1102, and 1103. So the 3 different asset numbers. So what I'm going to do here, I've just gone internal, and I'm going to hit the change button, and that's what's reported there. That current is this internal current, is this internal here. So I'm going to rename that. I'm going to say I want you to be called, poorly spelt, asset number, sorry, God, fingers and thumbs today, number 1101. Okay, so now that now says 101, and I'll go OK, and OK again, and you see this now says asset number 101. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this thing twice. I'll copy it to there, and I'm going to copy it to there. Now you'd have an underlay of CAD or something, you would know exactly where these things were going to go. So first thing I'm going to do is this version of the building is rotated 60 degrees. Right? This version of the building pull down here, drop down there, is running true north. Right, so that's the configuration we want. This one is a shared site, still called Asset 101. This one, because I copied it, is not shared, and this one is not shared. Okay. Now, little other complication is this version here is 150 mils lower than this one, and this version here is 800 mils lower than that one. So we'll go and just cut a quick section, view section. So we'll cut a quick section through here, and this version here, move, is 150 mils down. So it's actually RL 17750. Sorry, 17700. So I've just moved it down 150. Come back to the plan again, and this version here is 800 mils down. So view section. I'm going to move it down 800. Back to plan. So this is shared site. These two are not shared, but I've actually moved them in the correct place relative to the shared site. So this guy here now, love this guy. It's not shared. I'm going to pick this button here because it's in the right place now. I'm going to go, okay, I want to record this position. I'm going to duplicate. That's the one that's in use, and I'm going to call this one asset number 1102. And I'm going to go OK, and I'm going to go OK. So this one now is asset 1102, and now this one shares the same site. It doesn't say not shared, it is now asset number 1102. Likewise, this one, now I've adjusted the position and the RL, I'm going to record, change, and I'm going to call this one, I'm going to duplicate again, asset number 1103. And now you see this one is called asset 1103. Now, this is just local to this file at the moment because I'm just playing with copies of the model. Now, if I'm just checking my notes here for a minute and making sure I'm not missing anything. Right, the next stage is, once you've got to there, is just hit the save button on your master site plan. And you see this message pops up, which you may not have seen before, and it says you have changed the current position in Simple Architectural Model 2014 multi-site A, which is the data set. Do you want to save, do not save, disable sharing? Well, I want to save. Okay, now what Revit's done, even though this model isn't open, and there's 3 versions of it there, it's written those shared coordinates back, those multiple locations, back to the master file. So I'm just going to quickly close where I'm at. And I'm going to open my Simple Architectural Model A. You see how the date's changed, and there's the back file, and this is the one I've just created. Well, I haven't created it. Revit's done it for me without even opening the file. Now I'm going to open. Now here he is. He's exactly the same as it always was. We've got ground floor and we've got roof plan, yada yada yada. However, what we have that's different is if we come here to manage and go to location and go to site, there we are. Lo and behold, there's now 3 stored locations. 101 is the current, because before we renumbered it, I didn't spell that very well, did I? It's asset member. Oh, anyway. Before I'd renumbered it, it was called internal, and there's the other 2 locations. Now, what this will give you is the ability to pull this model into a site, into other sites, collaborating with others, and it'll know which location to go to. Now, I'm just going to go to True North. So here's our model, right? Now, just to show you what Revit does, you know you're not shifting anything. Nothing's moving in the model. This is what I'm talking about Revit moving the world underneath. Now, if I just come here and go location and go site, and this one here, select asset number 1102, I'm going to make current. See how the current changes from the top one to the middle one? Now if I go OK, oh, there's the other one. And then there's a third example, because we've got 3 in this site. If I come here, go location, go site, make current, and there's the 3rd location. See, we're still set to True North. Now later on, I'll give another little bit more detailed example of that, just to show you that it does work, and it does work by moving the world, not the model. So what we've done now, we have established 3 stored three stored locations in the model, and we've also established a site model that shares those locations as well. Okay, that's the end of this example.